Yeah, so the first part of the demo will cover the backend. So I have a local instance of the backend running on my local. It's a pretty simple Node.js backend using Express.js. So here we have three models: drivers, trips, and users. So each user has its details and its unique ID. The same applies with the driver as well. And whenever a trip is created, uh, basically the data of both the driver and the user is stored here, along with some other details like the trip fare and the trip status. So currently there are three types of status that I have for a trip: active, finished, and cancelled. And by default, when we create a trip, the status is active. So this is all about the basic backend models. Now the only thing that I want to show here actually in Postman is the dynamic QR generation. So for each auto, so as each auto has is associated with a particular driver, so with the driver ID that we have, we can track that particular unique auto. So what I do while creating a QR is I create a QR which on scanning returns me the driver ID of that particular auto, that the person to whom that particular auto is assigned to. So if you now go to Postman, there's this one API called generate QR. It's a post request, and in the body all we do is we supply the driver ID. So for example, we can fetch a driver by say his mobile number. He hit it, and so from this particular phone number, this driver called Manjunath is associated, and this is his ID. So we can copy this ID, we can generate this QR. It's the same ID that was already there. Then we click on send. So we get the status as QR generated. Now if we go back to the backend project, and we see that in the root folder itself there is this one particular, the ID that we had sent, it's the same ID. QR code.png is the name of this file, and a QR code is generated. So whenever we scan this QR code, this particular drive, it will return us this particular driver ID. So this is all about the backend. So now let's move to the front end for the rest of the demo. The front end is made in React Native, so the app can run on both Android and iOS. So what I'm going to do today is just screen mirror, like I have the app installed on my phone. I'll just mirror my iPhone screen on my MacBook, and then we can go through the demo. So I'll just start the sharing. Yeah, so you can see my phone screen now. So what I'll do is I'll first open the Expo app, and inside the Expo app I have my app installed. So as we can see, there are two buttons here, the user flow and the driver flow. So both the flows are actually integrated inside this same app for the sake of convenience. So what we'll do is now we'll first go through the user flow. Yeah, so after clicking on user flow, what we see is there is a page which says that there, like what I've assumed is that we are going to take a trip from Boho to Madiwala traffic police station, and I've already requested a ride for that. I did not make a separate screen for that. So I am assuming that we have a trip from Boho to Madiwala traffic police station. So as usually it comes in the app, I get a quotation, and I get a button here saying that find me the nearest instant ride. So when I click on it, it shows me one auto near me that is ready to take me by scanning the QR. So I click on navigate to ride. So a map shows up. This is also a dummy map, So what it will actually show is that the navigation from my current location to where the auto is standing. So it will help me navigate the auto, and meanwhile I'll just walk uh, by following the directions on the map, and I'll reach the auto. Now let's assume that we have reached the auto. So there is one option here that says scan QR to start ride. So I click on that. So as soon as I click on that, my camera opens up. So what I have done is I have printed a dummy QR of an auto. So I'll go ahead and I'll try to scan it. So as soon as I scan it, well, that was pretty fast. Uh, as soon as I scan it, a form page comes up where, as you can see, the ride details are already fetched from the QR. The name Manjunath, auto number is KA1234566, and it just tells me that please enter the rest of the details to initiate your trip. My pickup and drop location were already set, so it automatically was pre-filled. All I have to do is just add my phone number. So in the future, what we can do is, even if you don't have an ID, maybe we can create an ID from that mobile number in the backend and schedule an auto using the QR. So in that way, without even having an account also, you'll be able to do it if we are able to replicate all the same steps on the web. So that is also one use case where we can book an auto ride without actually having the app. So after sending, it says that the trip request is initiated. I click on OK. So now what we'll do is we'll switch to the driver side of things. So now we come back to the same home page of our app. Now we click on driver flow. So after clicking on driver flow, we are redirected to a login screen. Let's go ahead and try to log in as a rider. Entered my number. So now we are inside the driver flow of the application. So now from what we can see is we have a tab view where there are two options, a dashboard and a QR status. So let's go through what's going on in the QR status tab view. It says that the current QR request state is active, and there is one button using which I can disable the QR request. So basically, if I click on that, my status would be marked as inactive for instant QR requests, and I will not show up on the user's map when they're trying to book a ride in the instant QR mode. So that is for that, and it shows my current status. Now if I go to the dashboard, it's pretty simple. There is one header with my profile picture and a salutation. There is a logout button. Then there is a card view in which it shows the stats for today. So it shows that I have made 0 rides today and I've earned 0 rupees. Below that is the incoming requests card view. So the scenario right now is that the user has the user chose this auto at first. He walked and found this auto. Now he sat in the auto and scanned the QR just as we did some minutes back. So now after he has scanned the QR and initiated the trip, the driver gets a card here or a notification saying that trip with Kirat, pickup is Boho, destination is Madiwala traffic station, and I will be paid 545 rupees for this particular trip. So there is no option to cancel or deny this trip because my QR status was active. So like I wanted someone to come and take a trip in my auto, so there is no option to cancel. There's only an option to start the trip. I click on the start trip button. I get an alert saying that the ride has started. So now after starting the ride, there are two options that the rider can do. He can either click on navigate to open Google Maps and get the navigation to the destination. So if I click on navigate, like it will redirect to Google Maps and he'll be able to see the map to reach the destination. Now let's assume that the trip is completed and I have reached the Madiwala traffic station and I have dropped the customer and he has paid me the money. So now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and click on end trip. So as soon as the trip ends, as you can see, the incoming request goes away. In my rides it was previously empty, but it shows that a trip with Kirat has been completed. And as you can see this in the stats for today card view, it has also got updated and shows that I have successfully completed one ride today, and my earnings was 545 rupees. So this is how the driver can manage all the QR related uh, rides that, or QR related trips that gets assigned to him, and this will be the whole end to end flow. Now let's go ahead and just see what happens if I disable the QR, and then also somehow someone comes and tries scanning my QR. Will it work? Let's go back. Now let's go to the user flow again. Let's try and book that same ride again. Navigate to ride, scan QR. Now when I go to scan QR and I try to scan this, so it gives me an alert saying that KA12345666 is not accepting rides by QR right now. So if the rider switches it off from his dashboard, then this QR becomes inactive and no one can scan this and proceed further. So in a like actually what will happen is, if this happens in a real life scenario, a new auto would be assigned to the user and he would have to do the whole steps again and find the nearest auto to him and then scan again. So this is the scene. And for example, let's assume, like, let's go once to the dashboard and try changing it in real time and see what happens. Okay, let's let's go to Safari. I have an data dashboard here from where I can monitor all the trips. So let's go to the drivers. Let's go to Manjunath. And here if I go and it shows that the QR ride status is inactive. Let's try to edit it. Let's try to activate the QR. So now in the back end the QR ride status is active. Now let's go ahead and again mirror my phone. Now let's go ahead and try to scan the app again. So now again the QR is now again active, and if I want I can start that trip again and do the whole thing again. And if I go to the driver flow once more, this particular trip will again show up there. So this is the whole end-to-end flow of my idea. Yeah, so here we can see that in my rides trip with Kirat is there, and there is one new incoming request. And if I go to the QR status here also it has dynamically been updated as active. So I can start this trip. If I want I can navigate if I want, and once I reach the destination I can end the trip, and this is how the whole flow works. Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out and going through the demo. uh, I hope like I was clear and you got the gist of the feature that I wanted to build for this hackathon. Really grateful that you guys organized this hackathon and I was able to take part in it. I learned a lot. Thank you so much. Hope you had a nice time. Thank you.